All right, so the Detroit Pistons made some news this week. A brand new community center at Rouge Park, and here to join us to talk more about it is Mark Barnhill, partner at Platinum Equity, Tom
Yep.
Gores firm, and also with the Detroit Pistons. So let's talk about this new community center and what it will tell, the impact
Sure.
on Detroit.
Sure. Listen, it's part of a larger objective that Tom set actually when he bought the Pistons, and that was to view the team, the franchise, as a community asset, and to be impactful in not just basketball and performance on the court, but in impacting the community, bringing people together. If you own a business, normally you're going out to the community to try to bring them in. If you own a sports franchise, people are coming to you. It's a uniting force, and if you can then use that in a way to bring them to bigger things than just the basketball program, you're a step ahead in that process. So we, from the beginning, one of our objectives was to really be active in community relations, community development, trying to unify people around, to rally people around these themes. And so, we've invested in a number of things over the years. We've supported various charities, Dave Bing's charity and Mitch Albom's Safe Play Center, and we're refurbishing, 50 or 60 or 70 basketball courts around the city.
Yeah, that's really coming together really nice. You look at the neighborhoods, the basketball courts at the parks, and with the Pistons logos.
It's important. Good. It's important because in that context, and it fits everything we're doing. It's not just in the downtown business district or certain areas. We're trying to reach neighborhoods that don't normally get this kind of vitalization and support. So this kind of fits in that. And what Tom did that I think was very interesting is, as the attention to social justice issues really came to the fore a year plus ago, right? Our players and our employees were looking to find their voice, right? There were marches, and we're really trying to figure out, how do I use my platform? And Tom at the same time said, we need to do something as well. He said, okay, here's what I want to do. I'm going to make a $20 million commitment, but I'm going to leave it to the organization, to the people in the organization. Figure out what to do with that money. What do we prioritize program-wise? What do we invest in? Where do we go? And we enlisted them and said, it's got to come from the ground up. We're not going to tell you how to put this money to work. You use your experience, your contacts, your sensibilities. And so
now we're seeing the fruit of those conversations and that grass level come to fruition with this new community center.
Exactly. So you've got the players, and you've got other employees in the organization under Erica Swilley, and all sat down and said, well, what do we prioritize? We could do voting. We could do census development. We could do a basketball court. We could do immunization centers. There's all sorts of things we can do.
You said voting. I remember the election where the Pistons opened up its facility at Little Caesars Arena to be able to allow people in to vote. During a time when we were in a pandemic, mass pandemic.
Again, all part of the overall theme that Tom has established for the organization. Let's be part of the community. Let's not just play in the community. Let's be part of it. So we asked them to prioritize, and they did a couple of things. They looked at different types of programs, and the community center idea was one that resonated because it allows you to build not just a basketball court or a gymnasium, but spaces where you can do tutoring and after school programs and dance programs or book clubs, whatever you want to do. You have this hub. So that was priority number one. Priority number two was where to put it. And the answer was to identify a place in the city that doesn't get a lot of kind of attention, input in that regard. And that's how we found Rouge Park, with the help of the mayor's office and others. And so it came together. That's the program, right? So we announced it today, and we're excited to kind of kick it off and get this thing developed, because it's not just the facility itself, it's the programs underneath it. It's how do we find, people who can run after school programs? How do we find tutors and mentors and others that can run programs there? How do you bring a dance instructor? So if there are kids in the community that don't have access to go to a dance studio or somewhere else, right in their neighborhood now they can go and do that. And so we're excited not just to put up the buildings, but to put the programs that breathe life into it, and then hand that off to the people who live in the neighborhood and say, now it's yours. Sustain it, give it life, nurture it.
Definitely a blueprint for that corporate community responsibility. And definitely the Pistons and with Platinum Equity is doing great work on the Tom Gores, and
Well, thank you.
And you guys being a partner.
Yeah, thank you. It's it's an important. We've spent a lot of time talking about the basketball team. You got to get the basketball right, and you got to have a competitive team. But once you're embedded in a community, this is a different business, right? Any other business goes about its business in its own way. This is a business in which the players wear the name of the city on their shirts, and the people who root for them, the people who live in that city, they represent them. And so you need to be able to find a way to be inclusive and to participate in the civic dialogue, to make voting, your facilities available for voting, to encourage census outreach, to provide these kind of community services. And we're proud of that and pleased to be part of that.
Hopefully we can get some more wins on the court, but definitely the Pistons, they're winning in the community, and we love that. Mark Barnhill, partner at Platinum Equity with the Detroit Pistons, thanks so much for joining us here at the Grand Hotel on Mackinac Island.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely. Thanks so much.
All right.
All right, cool. That was good. That was great. Thanks so much for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was cool. That was
right.
cool. And then Tom will be up there